You're listening to 90.8 Hills FM Radio.
This is 90.8 Hills FM radio station, using our voice to rate your choice. Stay tuned.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are very delighted to have a special guest from the Sustainable Development Goals Coordination Center, that is the SDGCC of the Planning and Transformation Department, Government of Nagaland, to discuss the Sustainable Development Goals in Nagaland. Let's learn about SDGs in Nagaland from our very special guest today, Ma'am Nayantara Sasikumar, who is an officer of the IES, that is the Indian Economic Service, presently working in the Government of Nagaland as an OSD, Officer on Special Duty, in the Department of Planning and Transformation, and is also the State Nodal Officer for Sustainable Development Goals. So thank you, ma'am, for your time. We are so delighted to be here all the way from Dimapur, here in your office in Kohima. So we just want to know from you, what are Sustainable Development Goals? And if you could explain to us in very simple terms for our listeners.
Thanks a lot, Hills FM Nagaland, for having me, and of course for taking your time off from Dimapur and coming all the way to Kohima. So the Sustainable Development Goals were adopted by all the UN member states in 2015 as a universal call to action to end poverty, protect the planet, and ensure that all people enjoy peace and prosperity by 2030. The SDGs are a collection of 17 global goals and 169 associated targets designed to be a blueprint to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all. And the SDGs aim to leave no one behind and to reach the furthest behind first. So for the sake of the listeners, I will just list out the 17 SDGs to get an understanding of the scale and ambition of these global goals. Goal 1, no poverty. Goal 2, zero hunger. Goal 3 is good health and well-being. Goal 4 is quality education. Goal 5 is gender equality. Goal 6 is clean water and sanitation. Goal 7 is affordable and clean energy. Goal 8 is decent work and economic growth. Goal 9 is industry, innovation and infrastructure. Goal 10 is reduced inequalities. Goal 11 is sustainable cities and communities. Goal 12, responsible consumption and production. Goal 13 is climate action. Goal 14 is life below water. Goal 15 is life on land. Goal 16 is peace, justice and strong institutions. And Goal 17, partnerships for the goals. So as you can see, these 17 SDGs try to cover all dimensions of development, and they are integrated and multidimensional and balance the 3 dimensions of development: economic, social and environmental. So I hope this gives you a picture about what are the SDGs.
Yeah, so thank you for listing out the 17 SDGs for all of us. So we were told, by your associate that this all these 17 goals, you work collectively with the government and all the departments. And so it was very interesting to know that, because this SDG, you're not just one department, trying to cover all these goals, but you're associated and collaborating with all the departments to bring these goals to life. So if you can, just pick up few goals and let us know which goal is concerned with which department, that will be really nice.
Yeah, sure. So that is also a little difficult task because, if you take a goal number 1, like no poverty, like this is something that all departments should actually work at.
Yes,
but
yes.
but then if you just try to pick up those departments that for whom this goal is quite related to, it will be social welfare, it will be rural development, it will be urban development and all that. And when you take zero hunger, it will be agriculture, because you are talking about food production.
Yes.
It will be social welfare, child welfare, and good health and well-being, the Department of Health and Family Welfare, social welfare also again. Quality education would be something like the school education, higher education and technical education.
Right.
So these are the departments that we basically work with on these goals and indicators relating to these goals.
Thank you so much. So now that, obviously all of us know that these SDGs are very important, and so it is being tackled. And so can you tell us why the Sustainable Development Goals are important for us, and why it's important to implement this?
Yeah, sure. SDGs are very important because they address the challenges we face in our communities, including poverty, inequality, climate change, environmental degradation, peace, and justice. and it promotes a long-term approach, a blueprint to addressing challenges through joint action. And inclusion is at the core of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development by leaving no one behind and reaching the furthest behind first. So there are problems with a very unidimensional approach to development. For example, the development conflicts that you have between economic growth and environment.
Right.
How do you resolve that?
Yeah.
So if you are going towards a unidimensional path of economic growth, then how do you promote the environment? And that is why we need something like the SDGs to have that kind of a blueprint so that we don't lose sight of certain goals or certain objectives. So at the heart of the Agenda 2030 are 5 critical dimensions: people, prosperity, planet, partnership, and peace, also known as the 5 Ps. And these are traditionally viewed through the lens of 3 core elements: social inclusion, economic growth, and environmental protection. So these, I would say, are the very essence of SDGs, and this is why SDGs are important.
So, what are the steps that the Government of Nagaland is undertaking to generate awareness, localize, and implement the SDGs?
As we all know that while the SDGs are global, their achievement will depend on the fact how much we are able to translate them into reality in the subnational governments, in states, in districts, and in the villages. So, to accelerate the implementation of the SDGs, the state government of Nagaland has established a dedicated center, the SDG Coordination Center, under the Planning and Transformation Department in October 2019, with technical support from the UNDP, United Nations Development Program. So, this center is established with a mandate to act as a center for knowledge dissemination, monitoring, policy strengthening, and as an accelerator of SDG implementation across the state. Since then, the state has been actively pursuing the implementation, streamlining, and strengthening of the SDG implementation. And the SDGCC has been working closely with all relevant state departments and all relevant actors in the government, focusing on capacity building and aligning the SDGs to the priorities of the state and the country as well. So, I would also like to share some of the key achievements of the works of SDG implementation that has been undertaken by the SDG Coordination Center. In terms of institutional mechanism, as I've already mentioned, we have set up an institutional mechanism. So at the state government level, we have a high-level steering committee headed by the Chief Secretary for guidance, monitoring, policy review, and course corrections on SDG implementation. And we have also constituted departmental SDG cells in all the relevant departments with SDG Nodal Officers for more effective coordination and implementation. So in terms of awareness and capacity building, the SDG Coordination Center has carried out various state and district level capacity building workshops and consultations for the implementation of the SDGs, developing the SDG vision document, and developing indicator frameworks for the SDGs. And going forward, we also plan to carry out capacity building training in collaboration with the Rural Development Department for village level functionaries also. So, in addition to that, we also try to disseminate SDGs to the general public and community through radio talk show series, AIR Kohima, Green Christmas campaigns, online quiz series, and like. And one thing that we have done is that, the Hornbill Festival of Nagaland attracts a lot of footfall, even within the state as well as outside the state. So, we had set up the SDG One Stop Destination Center at the Hornbill Festival in 2021 and 2022 as well for SDG dissemination through innovative activities. And SDG dissemination through the SDGCC Nagaland handles on social media platforms. So we also try to be active there as well to reach out to as much public as we can. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So these are some of the ways in which we try to build up awareness. And then another main pillar of our work is localization, integration, and convergence. So the state, as a lot of people might be aware, that the state government has formulated the Nagaland SDG Vision 2030, leaving no one behind. This was done in consultation with all the concerned departments. And this is a strategic development roadmap to work coherently towards the achievement of the 2030 agenda. So, and for SDG implementation at district level, we have developed district manual for SDG localization and integration, for giving guidance to district departments as to how they may localize SDGs depending on the local context of their respective geographies. So we have also developed various SDG knowledge documents, toolkits, publicity materials like brochures, flyers, handbooks, and wall posters, and videos, and a song in Nagamese to localize SDGs across the state, including the village level. And we have also tried to map the lot of these flagship schemes, projects to the SDG goals and targets. And as I mentioned, we developed these indicator frameworks, which is aligned to a national indicator framework to track, assess, and monitor the progress of SDGs across the state. Then another component that, something that we have started off late is focusing on innovation and on why innovation is important for achieving SDGs. So with this, we have started the Nagaland SDG Action Awards and the SDG Innovation Participatory Action Research Initiative as, instruments that encourages, promotes, and backs the efforts of all individuals, organizations, or institutions who are thinking out of the box and coming up with sustainable innovations at the grassroots level. So basically, we are trying to promote indigenous innovation. So under the SDG Innovation Program, we have piloted 3 projects for fast-tracking the achievement of priority SDGs. And the result for both the SDG Action Award and SDG Innovation Program 2.0 will be declared soon.
So interesting.
So, yeah. And then we also have a monitoring and evaluation framework where you try to view and assess the progress of all the schemes and programs of the relevant state departments through the SDG framework. So these are basically the 5 pillars on the basis of which our work essentially revolves in Nagaland. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for the detailed explanation. It's just been, really eye-opening to know about all this in such a short description. So, learning that from you all, I've just come to know that it's a massive effort that the state government has done and is doing in, such a short span of time. So, in conclusion, could you share any upcoming events related to SDGs and any message for our listeners?
Sure. So some of our upcoming events are, we plan to felicitate the winners of the SDG Action Award and the SDG Innovation Program 2.0, like whose winners we'll be declaring soon. And then we are also planning to launch an SDG Nagaland website and a Nagaland SDG dashboard very soon.
Okay.
So this is something that we are very excited about. Until then, we'll keep sharing updates to the SDG Nagaland social media handles and SDG newsletters. And I would like to say that while we continue to work towards advancing the SDGs, all citizens of the state can contribute to the cause as well, and we are open to receiving any suggestions from you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time. We wish you the best and looking forward to meeting you again.
You're listening to 90.8 Hills FM Radio.
This is 90.8 Hills FM radio station, using our voice to rate your choice. Stay tuned.